This terminal sits on about 724 acres of land. If you look on the right here, we have 4 tanks here. This is the access tank with a loading rack that we, you know what, take it right.
Himani, let him do the presentation. Yeah, talk less.
You just turn right up this. So these 4 tanks you see there, 1032 is avjet. Avjet is what you guys probably would know as kerosene. When it's avjet has a short shelf life, so when it's downgraded, they sell it on the local market as kerosene. We have 2 ULG tanks here and 1 diesel, LSD, low sulfur diesel. As you can see, this is a Rubis truck loading on our loading rack. We have Rubis and Sol, as most of you would know. One bay is for Rubis, the bay to the right is for Sol, and that's where the fuel for all the gas stations in St. Lucia are loaded from. And you see two fuel dispensers. That's where we fuel our company vehicles from, one for gas, one for diesel. So this is the loading rack that everybody knows and everybody sees from the road, but as we go through the rest of the site, you'll understand what we do here. This red tank is also it's filled with water, and the shed next to it with the small tank is foam. In case of a fire at the rack, we have a sprinkler system. The temperature gets up to 100 degrees. The sprinklers would automatically kick in and put the fire out. Just
He said avjet is what we know as kerosene.
What was 1082?
That was diesel, he said.
so Buckeye Terminal, it's a crude storage terminal primarily. Crude storage terminal. We also store clean products, but it was initially designed and set up for crude. We don't have a refinery in St. Lucia, as you guys would know, so we don't refine crude oil. I'm assuming you guys also know all clean products: avjet, unleaded gas, low sulfur diesel, high sulfur diesel, ultra low sulfur diesel, and many other clean products are refined through crude oil. These products are the end products of crude oil. We don't have a refinery in St. Lucia, like I said, so it's refined in Trinidad, in St. Croix, and many places in the US. So because of the nature of what we do, hey, I can't be speaking together with somebody, please. Because of the nature of what we do here, we train. We have a local team that we train to do everything. This is our warehouse where we store all our critical items. All our critical valves for our tank fills are stored here because we're not in the US. We have to keep ordering parts for everything. You'll see the big valves, the motor operated valves, the manual valves, all the vehicle parts. Everything is ordered. Everything is coming in. We store at this warehouse. No. This blue, you see some equipment there, blue equipment. This is our oil spill response equipment. We use that. We have skimmers, we have boats, if indeed we have an oil spill, which we had one time a long time ago in 1997, the skimmers would be used. So we perform simulations, tabletop simulations, and actually deploy these equipment to simulate employees learning to recover crude oil from the water if it ever happens. To your right, that's our firehouse. We have a fire truck. We have a water tanker as well. So my department, the operations department, the guys are first responders. and they are trained just like your fire service is trained in St. Lucia. We send them to Texas to go to fire school, and they learn how to out fires. We have to have first responders because of the nature of our operation. We have never experienced a fire on our valves or our tanks, but we have experienced a bushfire close to the beach that was set by somebody from the outside. So that's our firehouse here. The building on the far end. Building on the far end, that's our paint shop. We also paint all our tanks from our crew, and that's the storage here. We also have a tire shop. We repair tires here. This heavy equipment building straight ahead to the right, we have employees, trained mechanics who repair everything: vehicles, cranes, forklifts, man lifts, tractor heads. We repair. We have a crew repairing everything there. So any one of y'all who wants to pursue maybe probably mechanical engineering course, Buckeye is a place to work. I don't think you'll make more money anywhere else. We also have a welding bay where the crew is also trained because of the nature of our operations. They are trained to repair our tanks, our pipelines. They fabricate pipelines, fabricate this. We import the steel for the tanks, and we do most of the work ourselves. Okay, to your left, you see 4 tanks, and you see some what looks like pistons facing up. This is Lucilec power station. You don't see that from the road. Buckeye supplies Lucilec with diesel for the generators. As you guys know, Lucilec is our only power company on the island. So we pump underground piping. We pump 120,000 gallons of diesel to Lucilec every other day to supply the generators to feed the island. We've been supplying Lucilec from 1991 until up to now. We still supply them. There's an agreement for Lucilec to buy diesel from Buckeye.
We'll ask that question a little later. Just make note of it.
I want you to repeat how many gallons.
It's 120,000 US gallons every other day. If you convert to barrels, it's about 3,432 barrels. On that building on the right, that's our power plant. We supply our own power. We do not depend on Lucilec. So we have 7 generators in that building, and the white tank you see to the right of it is the diesel. These are diesel-driven generators. We supplying the engines. We have 6 generators in there to supply the whole site with power. As I said, Buckeye is formerly owned by Hess. So this site was, excavation started here in 1977, and we received the first oil tanker in 1982. March of 1982, we had the first oil tanker here. This building way over there is our admin building, where you see the vehicles parked outside. That's where my office is. So this place has been running from March of 1982 until now. Obviously, most of you guys, if not all of you guys, were not born yet. 1982, March of 1982. First vessel came in. And like I said, formerly owned by Hess, Buckeye acquired this facility December of 2013. A lot of people in St. Lucia still refer to this place as Hess because that's what they knew all along. But Buckeye acquired this place from December of 2013. We have storage wise, as I said, it's primarily a crude storage terminal. So we We are a 9 million barrels crude storage. We can store 9 million barrels of crude at any one time. We have 9 million barrels of crude. We can also store 1.7 million barrels of clean products. Clean products inclusive of low sulfur diesel, ultra low sulfur diesel, high sulfur diesel, unleaded gas, and avjet, what you probably know as kerosene. So right here we have, they call them bullets because of the shape. That's the LPG, liquid propane gas. LPG, what you use as cooking gas on your stove. This is what's stored in this tanks. The first 4 belong to Rubis, the last one belong to Buckeye. And this shed, as you can see, the 20-pound cylinders. This is where Rubis bottle their 20-pound cylinders. You see, they load in the truck, and then it's distributed throughout the island for domestic use. They also have the 100-pound cylinders and the 22-pound cylinders. All of them are loaded here. So the vessel comes into this dock, this small dock ahead, and we physically involve in buffing the vessel, lining up the right valves to discharge the butane or the LPG. So these are our docks. The one where it's what you see, a tugboat is being tied up alongside the dock. These are one of the tugs we use to buff our vessels. So this is the smaller dock. This dock, we only buff vessels discharging or loading clean products. This is only a clean product dock. We use the bigger dock over there for crude. So just take a look to So on this dock we use hoses to connect to the vessel. So we use the overhead crane, pick up the hose, take it on board, and our guys do the physical connection. Too bad we don't have a vessel in port today. Yeah, that's one of our tugs.
Hercules.
The boat, clearly.
Any questions so far?
Yeah.
The white thing.
I can't hear you.
Over to that.
What's that?
Oh yes, you didn't mention what those for.
Oh, the tanks, the white tanks? These tanks are absolutely no longer in use. We used to store what you guys would know as banana oil.
What?
Long time ago, the scientific name is Spritex. We used to store in those tanks. I don't know if you guys, well, our banana industry is dwindling now, but the Spritex used to be used by airplanes to spray, fly over the banana plantations, and you see this white liquid, they spray the bananas with it.
Yep.
That's why they call it banana oil. We no longer store that at Buckeye St.lucia.
So you also use it? Beg your pardon, excuse me, sir, do you all still use the banana oil?
No.
Alright. Alright.
So this dock here has a maximum draft of 17 meters. That's the small dock right there where the tug is. So it's about 17 meters deep. And this big dock ahead, coming up ahead, it's about 90 meters deep, right next to the dock. We have been fortunate in St. Lucia to have very deep waters on the west coast. Some of the deepest areas on the west coast is next to the Pitons in Soufrière. Soufrière probably has the deepest waters in St. Lucia.
Big up Soufrière in the back. We can get into this side, but you explain what this pipe is.
1.7 meters. 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 1
gonna kill Joan as we done that solution. So these are some of our storage tanks on the left ahead. The white tanks, clean products stored there. We have the unleaded, the ultra low diesel, we have low sulfur diesel, and we have another low sulfur diesel. These pumps here, one pump station is for the high sulfur diesel, another pump station for the low sulfur, another one for the ultra low sulfur. And this is our dock 2. This dock was designed initially to move very large, they call them VLCCs, very large tankers, crude carriers. The largest tanker in the world has been to St. Lucia because our waters are deep enough to move. This boat here can move one of the few ports in the world that can move any size vessel.
Excuse me, sir, what do you mean by berth?
What was that?
What do you mean by berth?
Berth, to tie it up alongside, to berth it at the dock.
Alright.
The vessel comes alongside, the tug would push it, and we would physically tie up the lines to tie up the vessel, just like you see the cruise ships do in Castries. So we have crude loading arms. These are loading arms right there. We have the 3 blue ones are for crude. We pump crude oil for them, and the yellow ones are for clean products. Right there we have 2 fire pumps. In case of any tongue fire, we have 2 fire pumps. We pump directly, suck directly from the seal, and we can pump to any tank anywhere on site.
Excuse me, sir, what was the little shed there for? There was a shed right by us.
Huh?
There was a shed we just passed there. What was it for?
That's a shed for the line sampler.
Alright.
Do you all have any tools to prepare for any like water disasters?
Yes, good question. That's the best question I heard so far. We do perform fire drills every quarter. The operations team, the maintenance team, we do perform fire drills, simulating a fire at a valve, at a tank, on a line. So the guys are trained with bunker gear, and we simulate a fire, and the guys physically pump, have the fire hose, simulated putting out a fire. Right to our left here, these are crude pumps. We pump crude to and from the vessel with these pumps. We can pump a maximum of 75,000 barrels an hour with these pumps. Somebody had a question?
Yeah, the other man on the other side of the fence.
Joel, speak properly.
Yeah, the other gentleman on the other side of the fence. It looked like he was fishing.
Yes, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of something called the Queen's Chain. Even at the hotels have tried in the past to stop people from walking on the beach in front of the hotels. Something called the Queen's Chain. Nobody can own the waters. Nobody can own the beaches. Every St. Lucian has access to every beach. So in that sense, you see we have a perimeter fence. But the guys come from cul-de-sac and walk alongside the fence, and they go to the end fishing. It doesn't bother us because nobody is cutting the fence to come on site. So it's not an issue for us. That's our oil boom to your right there. If we indeed have an oil spill, that boom will be deployed to go across the bay to trap any oil that will be released.
Okay, Mr. Pamphile, there was a question earlier about the line that runs on our left.
This is our foam house. This tank has 5,000 gallons of foam. In case we have any fire, whatever tank, sectional valves will be opened up and foam would be directed to the tank that's on fire, if in case it happens. What was the question?
Yes, so the long pipe that runs all the way down to the entrance where we came from.
To our left?
Yes, on the left, yes.
Oh, these are crude lines. All the green lines are crude. These are 42-inch crude lines. Some of the biggest lines in any terminal you'll find anywhere in the world. We These lines are tied to all the green tanks you see on top of it. And we can load and discharge product, crude oil that is, through those lines.
Sir, I have a question.
Question.
Sir, where's the first order?
Which one was first?
1032.
Mr. Pamphil, so which tank, which storage container, I would call it, was erected first, or was it done
Oh,
over
it
a period of
was
time?
crude oil, because remember I said it was primarily a crude storage terminal. We store crude oil for customers. Buckeye don't own product except what we supply Lucilec with. So customer come in with a vessel discharges in say one of these tanks, we store it, they pay a storage fee monthly, they pay a berthing fee to berth the vessel, and that's how we make our money back. So we spend millions of dollars to build those tanks. 20 years ago, one of these tanks, it cost $11 million to build one of these tanks. And today it's about $20 million to build one of these tanks. But then Buckeye makes the money back over time with storage fees, customer agreements, berthing fees. Every vessel coming to our port has to pay a berthing fee. And that's how Buckeye make their money. If it's a big ship, they can pay us, the vessel would have to pay as much as $80,000 just to berth that vessel.
Let me stand up. No, I didn't almost. I just wanted to see, Caleb, you were the one who asked the question that sparked this idea of what those green round cylinders look like up close. So I believe that's what we're about to see, if I remember correctly. So take note. And you can ask questions about their size as well. No, don't touch them. That is very much not wine.
That is why. That's good. So you taking notice?
That's Fanta sauce.
Yeah, I don't want to die. Thank you, doctor. Focus, please. Thank you. They said the green tanks. Good job, Colonel. The green tanks hold crude oil. Good job. Lots of it at that.
So these are an up close look of our crude tanks. We also have, I would say 20 years ago, we had the second largest tanks in the world. But as time gone by, different terminals build bigger tanks. These tanks are 750,000 barrels capacity. Each of these, all the crude tanks you see, all the green tanks, they are 750,000 barrels capacity.
Excuse me, sir. How many gallons does each one hold?
No, he said
750,000
barrels.
barrels times 42 will give you the gallons. So do the math.
Alright.
What about the physical dimensions? How
Physical
large
dimensions, it's 67. The physical height is 67 feet high, and it's a 284 diameter tank.
I don't want to be like
It's 67 feet high. The shell height is 67 feet, and it's 284 diameter. We have 12 big tanks. 12 crude tanks, each 750,000 barrels capacity. We also perform our own servicing. This tank to our left is out of service. As you can see, the manways are open. And our team also doing the welding. If they have any corrosion, we cut off the plate and re-weld the plate.
So the manuals are large enough to go inside, right, sir?
Yes, manuals are large enough to do it.
No, you cannot.
You can't even exit the bus.
No questions about the tanks? Like how much one cost? So you all will start saving? So we can make one?
Forward. So Buckeye going to make the boats.
Alright, that's true.
How long will it take to build one?
No,
Or to fill one? We'll have to do some mathematics. No, he said how fast it pumps, and we know the capacity, so we can calculate.
But that's true.
Is this one also being serviced, Mr. Banfield?
Say again?
This one on the left is also being repaired?
This
serviced?
one is out of service as well.
Okay.
Yes.
We are seeing things in that's huge.
These two stacks you see ahead, we also accept crude with high H2S. H2S is scientific abbreviation for hydrogen sulfide. Hydrogen sulfide, anything that's decomposed. Somebody is passed away, they stay there, a dog, anything that's passed away, any decomposing matter,
Yes.
hydrogen sulfide would be released eventually. So the crude comes from the ground, as we know. So there's some crudes, not all. Some crudes have hydrogen sulfide, and we have to make provisions for that because inhalation of hydrogen sulfide can kill you instantly.
What?
It's a windsock.
It is big. Come on, how big? How many acres?
So this is our water treatment plant. We literally separate water from oil in this area here. Sometimes crude comes in with water. We would drain that water, get some crude draining out. It comes through this section. We separate water from oil, and then it's released into the lagoon. That eventually ends out in the sea.
This is separated.
Yes, we have compartments in this API separator where we can literally separate water from oil. So this is our lagoon. All the water gets here. We maintain the water cleanliness because we have fish swimming. So we know the water is clean.
Yes, Steve, and your question now.
How deep is the lagoon?
Lagoon is about 10 feet, just about 10 feet deep. Yeah.
Also, so shallow.
You know that.
right here, that's our clean oil tanks. The 1020 is half-jet storage, kerosene. 1021 and 22, that's low sulfur diesel storage. So the vessel comes in at the first dock you guys saw, the small dock, and pumps to these tanks. And we now pump from these tanks to the front, to the tanks at the front loading rack where you saw on your way in. 1023 is a slop tank, so we have water, crude, everything going into that tank. These tanks ahead there, that's unleaded gas, 29 and 31, that's Sol and Ruby storage tanks.
That's what we're using in our vehicles.
That's right. That's the operations building on the left.
Showing the building a road.
I have to build it though. So much money.
That's true.
Yeah. Slow down. Construction. Damn, that's good. If you go on and see
Sparkle, as we drive out, maybe you can tell us a little bit about revenues and just the operations part of things.
Yeah, I'm just
Oh, well, our operations department runs 24/7. We have the operators working shift. We cover 3 different shifts: 7 to 3, 3 to 11, and 11 to 7. Our operations run 24 hours a day. Vessels come in any time of that 24 hours. So we have employees on site ready for moving those vessels. On average, Buckeye makes about $50 million US net profit a year.
Give me a little 1,000 USD light, some light.
On the far left, if you guys ever heard of the Buckeye Beach, some people refer to it as that. We don't look at it as that because that's a beach we developed and we gave it to the community. So anybody can come and use that beach. But it's our land, we developed it. We have 3 volleyball courts on that beach. We have concrete tables. Anybody wants to use it, we give them reumbrellas, we supply them with ice. I don't know if you guys are aware, February 22nd, our independence, we had a Caribbean tournament right there on that beach. Competitors from all the islands came. We had a great day tournament. I don't know, it was on news. I don't know if you guys listen to the local news, but that's where we had the volleyball tournament. That was donated to the community.
I'll think about it.
We have about 67 employees. We have about 25 operators at the operations, those who are directly involved in buffing the vessels, and the rest of the employees, the numbers are counted to carpenters, masons, welders, mechanics. We have a warehouse clerk, we have accountant, payroll clerk, etc.
Excuse me, sir. Do you ever plan on expanding?
Say again.
Do you ever plan on expanding?
Good question. We have enough land space for expansion, but with the way the business is these days, if we have to expand, we will not do it on our own. Whoever wants the storage would have to commit to long-term storage, so we can guarantee a payback in order for us to build more tanks. But we have the land space to build lots of tanks. Like I said, we're sitting on 724 acres.
Just about feel at any time are any of the tanks at maximum capacity? Guys.
Say again?
Yes, how close do you get to maximum capacity in terms of storage, or is there enough turnaround that the tanks will be emptied before you get there?
Currently, we have maximum capacity for clean storage product. We have no tanks available right now if any customer wants to store clean oil. We do have tanks, however, available for crude storage. There's something that happens in the crude market, and you guys can do your research on it. Something in the crude market, there is a term called backwardation, and there is another term called contango. backwardation is when the market, the future forecast of crude is going to be less than it is today. In other words, today is the 22nd of May. If the crude market forecasts crude to be, let's say a barrel of crude right now is $80, and the forecast for the next 3 months, 6 months to 8 to 9 months, it's going to be $60. Whoever is storing crude right now wants to sell that crude before the market price changes, because they will lose money if they wait until the market price changes to sell the oil. It's a business. So when on the opposite, the contango market is when the forecast price of crude, future forecast price is going to be higher than it is today. So everybody wants to store crude now, buy it at $80 now, because they know in 3 months, in 6 months, they can sell it at $100, $120 to make a profit. It's all a business.
Okay, but there are times when you're not able to, you have to tell a customer we have no more storage.
Oh yes. Right now it's a backwardation market. That's why we have crude storage available. We're currently talking, you guys probably aware that Guyana, a lot of oil was, millions of barrels of oil were found in Guyana. Right now we have Exxon, we have Hess, we have CNOOC, with shares in Guyana. And right now we're in talks with these companies to try to get them to store crude oil in St. Lucia. So we're hoping that by the 4th quarter, between September and December, the market will change and make it a contango market where everybody wants to store oil. Anytime the forecast price is going to be higher than it is today, everybody buys crude and they would store crude. So when the market changes for the higher price, they can resell it to make a profit. That's right. It's just business. It's always a business. Buckeye is in this operation as a business to make a profit. And so are all the guys moving crude oil around the world. They're just in it to make a profit.
Okay, any last questions? We're coming to the...
I was just about to say, any more questions?
Yes?
I was just gonna say, they are sponsored by Toyota.
Are they sponsored? No, they paid their money like everyone else.
But why Toyota though?
But Mr. Pamphlet, it appears that your company's preferred brand is Toyota. That's what we're noticing here as auto
Yes, we've been using. Yes, we buy more Toyota vehicles than any other vehicles.
Do you have a reason for it?
No specific reason. Toyota is the world's biggest seller on vehicles. I don't know if you guys are aware of that.
Yes.
Right. So the vehicles are durable. So that's the preferred model that we buy, because they last longer than almost any other vehicle.
We're also in a Toyota right now.
Yeah.
I said Lord.
Yes.
What?
What?
I was expecting more questions, but you guys, I hope you guys can retain the information given. I wish your teacher would quiz you guys on what was said today.
Don't worry, I'll charge him for my video, sir. Alright. Sorry.
Thank you for showing us.
Can we get...
Take care, students. Bye.
I can come and control girls.